So, what team would we be on? The past or the future?
Back to the Future?
I can see the future. And it has another part of Splatoon ready for you guys to watch. Go on to World 3 in this part.
I can see the future!
Alright, let's just upgrade some stuff here. So, I always like upgrading my ink tape before I even touch the gun.
I'm expecting you putting in that clip whenever I say that in that awkward silence.
I'm on fire!
I'm sorry I like DBZ Bridge, it's funny.
No one goes to Freezer Planet 412. I think that's the planet name, where it's just a whole bunch of those guys just saying I can see the future. And naming all the future things in the series. Gohan gets stronger, but he still doesn't do crap.
Can we watch that?
Yeah, we can watch it. You like DBZ Bridge?
I like when Lester does it. He should be a part of it.
One of my favorite things, actually, is the Christmas special they posted for this year. One of my favorite lines was the Santa there telling Goku, "You're a threat to your whole world. You put the whole universe at risk." What? No, how would I put the universe at risk? And then you just see a pop-up of the Crunchyroll Dragon Ball Super arc of the whole Tournament of Power going on as soon as that pops up. Like, how am I at risk? Yeah, go watch that and you'll see why.
Oh my god. We're gonna have to sit down and watch it now, unless you brought it up. Anyways, back to the game before we get on another tangent about Dragon Ball.
There's a game?
I swear.
So this is one of the levels that they introduce you to the zipline mechanic. And it's actually pretty interesting, this game. I do like the ziplines.
I forgot about this. I forgot about that mechanic.
Yeah,
They
you
use it
bounce
as, like,
around a
little
lot.
trampoline. Yeah, they use it like little trampolines.
I like how the multiplayer maps in Splatoon 2 now have those as a regular thing. A lot of levels have those kind of ziplines.
Yeah, I like that too, because it's just like, well...
One of my favorite things to do now in multiplayer, especially in modes like Rainmaker, is I'll just get in those things to go back and forth to trick out opponents.
That's actually pretty clever.
Yeah, it really does work, especially in Rainmaker, because half the time in the Rainmaker, you get on one of those zipline things, and you have your team's score go from like the 100 at the middle, all the way down to like 2. Some of those ziplines just cut your score down so fast.
By the way, Lester, how many times did you have to redo that part where you shot those ink tornado
A lot.
at those enemies?
A lot.
You get a perfect shot each
This is
time.
without motion control, so that's a lot. Although I do like how I was able to keep the Inkazooka for the rest of this, just because if you finish a level with your special, you get plus 10 eggs. Same for if you finish a level with your armor still on, you also get a plus 10 for that. Which, in this kind of game, you need every single egg you can get for upgrades. You can go out of your way in your first playthrough, grab every single egg you see, get all the bonuses, and you still won't have enough to upgrade everything at once. You have to grind these things if you want to upgrade every single piece of gear. It's kind of annoying, actually. I did as well, yeah. It doesn't feel as rewarding, because at least in your normal playthrough when you do it, you get the use of stuff more, but then after that, you're kind of done.
It was at that moment Lester's like, there's a...
It's like, hang on, was this the right level? Was this level 11? Let me check my map. This is the level! Oh my god, this is one of the worst ones in the game.
Oh
Doing the
my
Splatoon
God.
amiibo challenges for this level. Oh my god. I hate the limited ink challenge for this level. It is so
Wait, there's
difficult.
a challenge?
Yeah, we forgot to mention that. Each of the amiibo give you a set number of challenges, and some of the challenges only allow you to use a certain number of ink. And some of them ask you to beat a certain level with the roller, for instance.
Yeah, it's very strict when it comes to the ink ones. I mean, those ones are specific to the Squid amiibo.
This level's a nightmare to do with limited ink, because if you haven't seen the theme of this level, you got invisible platforms that can only be identified or like seen with spraying ink on them. So doing this level without that kind of makes this just like, okay.
It basically
where
becomes
do I go?
memorization.
Oh, that's right. I fell off a ledge. It looks like I'm gonna have to do it all over again.
This level is basically memorization for the limited ink challenge. There's no other way you can get through this unless you know where you're going. And this section right here is what kills you on your first playthroughs, because this thing, Squeegee guy, oh man, he's in the way. He takes away all the ink that you need to see where you're going. And they do it a couple times.
Squeegee guys, jerk.
This is ridiculous. Why would you put a challenge on this kind of thing?
Squeegee guy's a jerk, and then he gets a buff in 2 and becomes big. And then he rams you off ledges.
I mean, it is an interesting mechanic with some of the levels having you needing to ride those things. But who else freaked out when you got to that level in Splatoon 2 and you saw like 15 of those things at the end?
Me, because I was trying to get the 2 collectibles, and some of them require you riding them all the way over, and the only way you can get them to frickin' move is to shoot in that general direction.
It's chaos. It's basically playing bumper cars.
Exactly, and if you fall off one of those guys, the guy's like, oh, hi, and he bumps you, and he jumps, and it either kills you or knocks you off the ledge. You
It's
die.
ridiculous.
By the way, we didn't even mention this. You have 3 lives in each level. If you die 3 times, you have to start over.
Yeah, it's not too much of a penalty because every time you make it to a checkpoint, they refill your life up by a bar. So
Yeah.
as long as you keep on getting to a checkpoint, then you should have enough life to beat the stages. Honestly, I didn't really see myself game overing in this game unless I tried to go all my way for certain collectibles, because then you can get a little more reckless. And some of them you have to kill yourself.
Look at the fashion show.
Oh man, the fashion in the Splatoon world is amazing. There's just so many weird outfits you can wear in these games.
I know you recorded this a year ago, but we really should have showed those amiibo challenges off just to show the pain of how bad they get sometimes.
I was actually considering doing that for those levels, like, I'll just play the amiibo version of it, but honestly, some of them aren't that bad, because the nice thing about the amiibo challenges is with the boy and girl amiibo, you get to select your weapon for that, so you can either choose using a roller or a charger, and that's about it. But then with the Squid amiibo, it's basically Kraken runs, and there's speed runs of the level, so it's actually very interesting.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you have to play through the game in order to unlock those things. Also, this is not how you should be getting this scroll, it's just how I like to get it.
It's just because Lester's Lester, that's all.
I actually find it more awkward to shoot at that rail from the other side than just jumping down there. I'm so used to games just making me jump down there to get a secret. So my green star senses are tingling. It just tells me to randomly jump down a pit and hope for the best.
Hope you don't die.
I hope your homing spin attack actually worked to home you in the star. If not, you just zoomed past it and died. There is actually one star like that. It's actually kind of hilarious. It's in one of the levels, I believe, in World 4, where the green star is on the higher plane up. So the best way to get it is you have to flip yourself downwards, so you fall up. But the thing is, the homing ground pound sometimes homes you on that star and sometimes doesn't. So if you do the homing ground pound to go straight up for the star and miss, you're basically just a homing torpedo going straight up. It's the most depressing yet hilarious thing at the same time.
Lester's having war flashbacks to his reporting earlier.
The biggest thing about those is just the green stars are more or less kind of the pace breaker of Galaxy 2. It definitely slows things down. It wants you to be more exploratory like the older games, but the more linear levels, so some stars are a little awkward to get. We'll probably get around to the Galaxy series at some point.
Eventually.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
We did Mario 64 already.
Yeah, I'm working on Sunshine stuff now, which, man, that's definitely a project.
Is it bad? I think that I still think. Well, no, Galaxy's still my. Well, I don't know anymore. My Odyssey's kind of.
Mario teaches typing is a solid game.
It's the best Mario game, didn't you know?
Mario. Hotel Mario.
Hey, are you ready to Mariocise?
Mother of God.
Oh, nice computer you got here. Can I have it?
No!
Awfully nice of Captain Cunflish to invite us to the Octoling Canyon, eh, Luigi?
Some of the early stuff for Charles Merton Day, I swear, it's probably the most embarrassing stuff to go back and watch. And in that clip in particular, he's like, "Oh, I'm so glad it wasn't Mario at that time."
Oh, this level.
This one's pretty interesting, because if you know what you're doing, the momentum can either help or hurt you in this level. I've had plenty of times where I jumped off the edge because of the momentum.
I have plenty of times where I've just seen myself careening off the ledges and I ask, why? Why did I do that? Why?
Okay, I'm just gonna say this right now. You definitely know that I just played this game a lot because look what he just did.
I know.
Yeah.
He's already got his path written down. That's why. That's why.
He doesn't even bother with the net stuff or anything. He just slides under and be like, okay.
That's why he was put in charge to work this game.
I mean, it's like I've played this game for like over 300 hours or something on my Wii U. It's ridiculous. I put a lot of time in Splatoon.
I think you played it more than what you did Breath of the Wild at this
Oh my
point.
god! You're telling me you played this about as much as me, 100% Breath of the Wild? Oh my gosh, Lester.
Wait, what are you talking about? I thought your time was like 1,300 hours. Come on.
No. Mine was like 325 when I last finished.
I mean, out of all the Wii U games, I will say this is the one I probably spent some of the most time in. This, Mario Kart 8, and Smash 4. Are probably the ones I spent the most time
Mario
with.
Kart 8 took a lot of my time too. I
Yeah.
mean, Smash 4 took a little bit more.
Yeah, I think Smash 4 is still my most played game on the system. It was still my first Wii U game, so that also makes why.
Was it? Yeah, I guess it was.
Yeah, because I got the Wii U in 2014, like a month after the
That's
game
right.
came out, I believe. I mean, I pretty much wanted it for Smash at the time. Like, I gotta get my Smash fix. I don't have a 3DS yet, and I really want to play this on console.
I was late getting a Wii U.
No, it's fine. At least you got one.
I
And
know.
you got to experience some of the games that you liked. I mean, the Wii U, I still think, is a great system. I know a lot of people didn't buy it.
It's kind of like the GameCube.
Yeah.
It's pretty much an underrated system. But at this point, it's not going to have the biggest drawback as the GameCube did, because a lot of the games are getting ported, so people won't be going back to the Wii U as much anymore, just because they can play on everything else.
One thing that bothers me now is just like, you remember how excited when certain games came out for the Wii U? Like, I'm gonna use this as an example because this is the one I just remembered recently. Like, Xenoblade Chronicles X. When it came out for Wii U, everybody was excited for this game. I was like, and I was too. And I've played a little bit of it, and I thought it was okay. Battle system was a lot better than the first game. I mean, at least in my opinion. I like the first game, don't get me wrong, it's one of my favorite games, but I thought X refined it a little bit better, and I thought it was a good game. When Xenoblade Chronicles 2 for the Switch came out, everybody else is just like, oh yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles X was terrible. Like, this was like and this, I think Splatoon 1 had suffered the same issues too. I saw on social media where everybody's just like, oh yeah, Splatoon 1 wasn't that great. When Splatoon 2 came out.
It was weird because it's more or less this weird bias that when the sequel comes out later, the Wii U game gets bashed just because it wasn't the same thing at the time. And it's weird just because X, from what I've heard, Xenoblade Chronicles X, the only major complaint a lot of people had was the story wasn't as good. But they were trying to go for this more open world style RPG compared to what the Xenoblade 1 did.
Yeah, Xenoblade X was what it excelled in open world. I felt the battle system was a lot better. Didn't think the music was great, but the side quests, the numerous amount of side quests was great. Does that really mean it's a bad game if it has not as great story as its predecessor when everything else about it, minus a few, there is bad?
Was it still Rhine time, though?
No, it didn't have Rhine time, but...
Oh, dang. It's always Rhine time, though. Come on. It's gotta be Rhine time.
Or we mustn't be careless and fall off the tower.
Don't worry, I left his eyeballs clean so he can still see me.
But that's kind of what I was going at. I just brought up X because that was the example I saw earlier. A lot of people were hating on Another game I thought was great was the Tokyo Mirage Sessions hashtag Sharp FE. Sorry.
Hashtag
I
anime.
thought it was a great game, but apparently on social media verse, no, it's a terrible game. Why is it? Because
That's why
it's
you don't get
J-pop
on
game.
Twitter.
I think like the biggest thing that game suffered with is timing, just because it came out at the point when no one cared about the Wii U anymore. I've heard it was actually a pretty solid crossover game. But I didn't hear too much about it after it came out, just because like no one played it. Now you can find it for like $25.
Another one is perfect example here. Mario 3D World. At the time, we thought, oh my gosh, Mario 3D World is such a great game. You know, it's a fun game to play and
it
everything
still is.
else. And then now I'm just saying, like, now I'm seeing all the people start talking about the bad stuff about Mario 3D World. You know, the having to beat every level with every character to get 100% of the game. Like, okay.
I mean, I complained about that when it first came out. It's just a tedious thing, but it doesn't change the quality.
It didn't change the quality, but apparently that's what made Mario 3D World bad, I guess. Or I guess it's that and Mario Odyssey came out too, and everybody was trying to compare it to Mario Odyssey.
Well, it's hard to compare that because it's like comparing a 2D Mario game to a 3D Mario game. It has two completely different kind of gameplay styles. You can't compare Odyssey and 3D World because there are two completely different kind of games.
I don't care what anybody else says, the Wii U had Game of the Year 2017.
I mean, that's true, and that's the funniest thing to think about because
Can't deny it.
the system has no games, and it's terrible. No one should ever go back to it, yet it has Game of the Year for this 2017 year somehow. Think about that one.
It's still got Zelda Breath of the Wild.
I mean, it counts. The install base might be bigger on Switch, but at the same time, half of the install base is still also Wii U.
You could still play it on Wii U, and that's fine too. You know what? I think the Wii U is a perfectly fine system. I know a lot of people didn't buy it because of its silly gimmick with the gamepad, and honestly, after a while, I come to the idea, yeah, the gamepad was kind of silly.
I mean, it's sad because not many games really utilized it. Maybe some of my favorite uses of the gamepad, honestly, just kind of became maps because that's really only what the gamepad was known for in a lot of games. Like, Pikmin 3 is one of the best uses of that.
I think the best game that used the gamepad functionality was Mario Maker. That was about it.
That and Star Fox Zero. A lot of people kind of complain about that design, but once you get used to it, it actually really helps have a cockpit view and the standard view at the same time open.
I didn't think Star Fox Zero was horrible, like some people did.
I think it's one of the underrated games in the series. I think it's actually okay. Once you get used to control, it's fine, but it depends on how you feel with motion control.
I guess some people just don't like motion control, and some people love motion control. I guess, and you know what?
That's what it comes down to.
Star Fox Zero isn't that bad either. I saw a lot of people saying it's one of the worst games ever. That and Color Splash, but I think that's mostly because of the Paper Mario fanboy.
I mean, people are just still salty about how Sticker Star changed the formula, so that's pretty much why.
But the thing is, though, Color Splash kind of fixed that, so...
I've heard it's a better version of Sticker Star. So I've heard, like, if you're not a fan of what they did starting with that game with the RPG system, you're not gonna like this one as much. But at the same time, I've heard that people like this one a lot more than Sticker Star. Like, it felt a little more worthwhile to actually fight things this time.
The Wii U had a lot of good games on it. I thought it did. I mean, it's the only system where I got two really beautiful Zelda remakes.
Yeah, and then it had its own Zelda. So it technically has 3 different Zelda games on it.
And it had until the PC version came out, it had its own Sonic game.
Which I will say at this point, if you're going to play Lost World, just play it on PC. The animal requirement makes a huge difference.
Either that or just play the Zelda DLC.
Yeah, because it takes like 10 minutes to grind out the animals there. Once they added the Nintendo DLC, it fixed things there too. It's a preference thing at that point. I could still kind of recommend PC, only just because you need 7,000 animals to unlock the final boss in the Wii U version, but on PC it's only like 1,600. It's a major difference.
I didn't mean to talk completely over this, but I thought it was still better. Lord forgive me, Internet. I thought it was better than PS4 and Xbox One for a while. Sorry.
Yeah, I kind of felt the same just because of its exclusives. It had much better exclusives.
I know, I shouldn't be saying bad opinions.
Haven't you learned your lesson
I
yet?
haven't.
Don't worry, we want people to be mad here. I'll just swap the fire. Unpopular opinion, I think Star Wars is overrated. Come at me with your pitchforks and your fire sticks. I'll take you on.
But then again, I also think that people get too invested in entertainment. So
And that's why I think Star Wars is overrated. Because, guys, it's not the end of the world. Please, calm it down.
it's the end of Alderaan, though.